Okay, we'll class started in a moment.
Like I said, one girl practice says she's a if that's what I really like it. It's not one of those offices. You don't get to sit there and have homework. It's like you are working. I've never another office she just but I never stay the same.
Are you going to do it at the end of the class?
The one out there?
Wait, are we doing it at the end of the class or the beginning? I'll be right back. 25 minutes.
All right. Give everybody time to get here.
It's like, you know, right? I think because I think if I win this classroom meeting and Friday, so that I would know everything, you know, coming in. Like I started Monday before this. That's what I was like. And like with me, having been on. So, and like, I don't know what I had no idea. Like, I need to reach I know. I wish I had.
Okay, folks, this last day of class, let's make it a good one. All right, and let's see, quite a few folks out, they knew we were supposed to have a little bit of the exam today, but they can take it on the exam day, just take them longer. You know you're gonna have a manufacturing statement today. What's the very first thing that goes on it?
Work in process.
Beginning, you're right. And then next,
Direct materials.
next, and then
Factory overhead.
you add those up. You add the beginning working process to it. And what do you do next?
Right.
Right, ending working process, and that's it. It's real easy if you have a one-liner or overhead. You don't have to figure all utilities and depreciation, everything goes in overhead. And it's also easy if you got materials given to you as a one-liner. If you don't have materials given to you as one-liner, what do?
You do materials inventory at the beginning, plus purchases equal.
Materials available.
And then subtract at the end.
And then inventory gives you cost of materials used in the factory. And of course, this book didn't make a lot of distinctions. When you see materials, it's all direct materials. But if it ever mentions indirect materials, that is factory overhead. If it mentions indirect labor, that is factory overhead. Okay. Trying to see, it's not going to take you over 15 minutes to do this little quiz. I wonder if you want to do it first or at the end. Any preferences? Don't matter. Now, how about evaluating your instructor? Kelly said she thought she had. Has anybody else evaluated her instructor?
Some.
Chris has?
Some.
If I had everybody here, I'd take you up to room 310 and we'd do it all 10 minutes this morning. I don't have enough over here. I have to do that on exam day. Too many times students don't do that, okay? At community college, they used to put comments. And you still can. You can put comments about your instructor. And we had an office mate, an instructor, and he was teaching business math, something like quantitative text. Going to be business math next year. And now these evaluations, community college went to the dean and the president, and so on. Everybody saw them. And one student put on, his name was Judge, Mr. Judge. one student put on his evaluation, he'd make a better lover than a teacher. So, and that went to the deans. So, but anyway, I've had comments like that I was a great asset since it was accounting. And I've had other comments too, goes too fast. Well, cover 9 chapters, I think we went slow. But when I was up here in 79, I covered the textbook, 13 chapters a semester, I think. Covered every chapter. So, pushed them through it. But here we're covering 19 chapters this semester. That's it. All right, we're going to look at your homework and so forth, but please evaluate your instructors. Be honest, be fair. Now, at community college, it meant more money. If we got good evaluation, we might have got a merit raise. Up here, it don't matter if your evaluation is good or bad. We get nothing for it. If everybody's got a bad evaluation, they would have to talk to you and so forth. I only know of one instructor in the School of Business since I've been here that gets bad evaluations. Come in, folks, come in. Come in, Eva. I saw you down there yesterday passing an offer on the tennis court. Huh? Didn't you come down to the tennis? What were you doing down there, scraping the tennis court?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are you scraping, some of the old paint off?
Yes.
Okay. I know, Eva come down there and interrupted the man at work. Right, Eva? I'll try not to embarrass her this morning. Come in, come in.
Are we gonna get to have like a note sheet on the final like we did last semester?
You wouldn't want it, would you?
Yes.
You wouldn't need it.
I need all the like. Yes, please. It would be greatly appreciated.
We'll get a few more here this morning. All right, how many of you have ever evaluated your instructor? I mean, who has evaluated your instructor? Even some other semesters have you evaluated your instructor? Okay, Kelly's the only one this semester. All right, do you all know how to evaluate your instructor?
Yeah.
All right, we got enough here. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. We're gonna go up to the computer room, first floor at the end of the hall. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to evaluate your instructor. You already done it? Okay, those who haven't done it, let's go up to the computer room at the end of the hall and I'll go open the door. Now, if you got your cell phone here and you got the internet and you can do it here, that's okay too. But let's take 10 minutes and do it. Your instructors depend on it. Some of them, they got small classes. Everybody else got cell phones? Okay, computer room at the end of the hall upstairs.
It's like, I like them not to get like, I'm gonna wait until I go home after. That is all I try my best, but this is the only one that I have one. And when I'm done, I do it all together online.
You folks at home should be doing this same thing. If you are live streaming, take this same time to do this same thing. Evaluate your instructors. Hey, Margot, you didn't have class this morning, did you? Uh, you don't have class after this one, This is awesome.
Yeah, that one is, but I have stats too.
This is real time. How come the first three classes
She just did a recorded lecture. Yeah.
You evaluate your instructors.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. Your phone or some of them up in computer land. Well, you're thinking too long about it.
We have a lot of teachers,
Huh?
we have a lot of professors.
I know, that's true. Well, okay, guys. Is everybody about finished? Take another minute. Well, everybody's back from upstairs. Everybody finished? Okay. So, do I have a job next year? Anyway, um, a real quick story. Um, this is mostly for you young men may ever have a girlfriend or a wife. Okay? This man was strolling along the beach one day, and he's done a lot of good work by helping flood victims, and he's been a good man all his life. And God appeared to him and said, "Son, you have been so good on earth. While you're here, you will be here a while longer, and I'm going to grant you one wish." So the guy said, "Well, God, I don't like to fly an airplane, and I don't like ships. So would you build me a road from California to Hawaii so I could ride my motorbike to Hawaii?" God said, "Son, you are a selfish man. That would take so much of the earth's resources to build a road like that. But I'm going to give you one more wish. Try again." And he said, "Well, God, I've had girlfriends, I've been engaged, I'm married. My wish is, will you help mankind, to understand women?" God said, "Son, what do you want, a 2-lane or a 4-lane?" Somebody may have got that, somebody may not have. All right. In other words, it's easier to build a highway from California to Hawaii than it is to understand women. Now, All right, I want to scan just some exercises with you. This exercise 3, whether it was assigned or not, why do I have factory overhead debit here? That's correct. Work in process is direct materials, factory overhead indirect, and then you credit material. Now, sometimes factory overhead may be in separate accounts like supplies, and you would debit factory overhead and credit supplies. But most of the time, it's in there with material. All right, how about this one? Why do we have 9,100 debit to factory overhead? It would be indirect labor. This would be direct labor, indirect labor, and then of course wages payable. All right, so 2 ingredients on these exercises, materials and labor. And even exercise 7, we're putting labor into. All right, now what do you think we did with B part right here? What do you think this B entry is? We had a predetermined overhead rate. This is how factory overhead goes into work in process. We debit work in process and credit factory overhead. Here, $18 per hour for 630 hours would be your factory overhead. That was that predetermined rate. We worked one little exercise the other day on it. So now we have materials, labor, and overhead going into the factory on these exercises. These are the same thing, predetermined overhead rate. All right, what did we do in exercise 11 here without reading it, without recording? What did we do? And we put materials, labor, and overhead into work in process. Now the item is finished. We got to move it to the warehouse. So we debit finished goods and credit work in process. Now these finished goods are ready to sell. Now we didn't practice an income statement, and Millie was asked when we were having an income statement on the test, no manufacturer statement. But this would go on the income statement. You would take beginning finished goods plus cost of goods manufactured, add them together, subtract finished goods inventory, and you'll get work in process. You'll get cost of goods sold. These are going through materials, labor, and overhead again. I want you to look at the income statement, cost of goods sold. You would probably show all that on a real income statement. You'd show beginning finished goods plus goods manufactured minus ending finished goods. Not worried about having these graphs or anything. Now, exercise 16, did we do that one in class? We did one of the exercise in class of all the journal entries, didn't we? Number what?
Number 8, I think.
All right, number 8.
It was like 5.
Right. We're going to take a minute. Was 16 assigned?
It was 1A.
What?
It was 1A that we did in class.
1A. All right, let's take 5 minutes and practice these entries. They're important. That's why I reviewed them. Exercise 16. We've got a lot to cover to wrap this chapter up. Now, this is for a service business. I want to see if you can figure some of these out. A service business. But again, let's look at that one together because there's a few things on there that would be tough. It's hard to compare it to a factory. So let's look at them together. We charge 175 hours professional time at a rate of 150 per hour for this company. Breach of contract, suit prepare for a car. A trial? Does anybody have an idea what your debit there and credit? All right.
Credit, salaries payable.
Okay. Now we were going to relate managerial accounting to a service business with still debit work in process and credit salaries payable. However, in the real world, I don't think they'd do that. They would probably debit legal fee expense. Okay. But related to managerial, they would debit work in process. I charge 260 hours of professional time for this trial at a rate of, golly, $185 an hour. What do you think your debit there?
Work in progress.
Again, yeah.
Salaries payable.
Or credit cash, I guess if they paid it cash. What? Okay, let me look at that. One was for 100, what, 50, okay, 28,000. All right, they're the same thing though. Debit working process, the same thing. And either debit, credit, salary payable, or cash. All right, moving on. Received invoice from consultants for 30,000 for expert testimony related to this trial. What do you think of debit there? Would your debit also work in process? All right. Everybody you pay, you're going to, well, I don't know if it'd be salaries payable or not, but some kind of fees payable.
You gotta go down.
Yeah. Yeah, go one more down.
Oh, okay. You were trying to tell me that a minute ago. That was too hard-headed to listen. Okay, there we go. Lord, I think I'm trying to tell him. All right. Anyway, it's all work in process. This is consultant fees payable. These were salary. Okay, we applied office overhead at a rate of 62 per professional hour. So we're going to debit what? If we apply overhead, we still debit and credit? No, this will be factory overhead. Okay, now what ingredient is missing? We still got work in process salaries payable. We still got work in process and overhead. What ingredient is missing? Materials. There's not materials in a service business. All right, we paid the administrator and support salaries. When you pay administrator, you just debit what? All right, and we're going to put that in office overhead and credit cash. Administrator would be overhead. We used office supplies for the month. What do you think with debit? Well, now, in office supplies, would that be factory overhead? Credit supplies. Paid professional salaries of 74,000 for the month with debit. Wait a minute, I thought it said, oh, we paid them, so debit, salaries, payable, credit, cash. We already had them. We had them up here somewhere. Some of these, I don't know if it's up in here or what, but we owed that. Okay, and then the last one, bill customer, so we're gonna debit what? And credit, reserve. Now that's just looking at it in the service business. And you won't probably have any of these questions on the exam. Let's run through a few of the exercises. Now, what problems were due for today? 3A and 5A. These problems I didn't think were great problems for this chapter. Now, problem 1 was okay, which I think we went over it also. That's journal entries. But problem 2 is entries and schedules for unfinished jobs and completed jobs. Journalize the entries to record the summary of these operations. Now, it looks like 1A. Didn't we go over 1A the other day?
Yeah.
Journal entries. And 2A. Now, 2A is what you're looking at right now. I'm going to have to speed these up for time purposes. If you go through those accounts there, you'll see that materials used bought was 29.8. You'll see that materials used was 27.10, but 51.80 of that is factory overhead. Now here something is crossed over on C. Does everybody know what that entry is? Entry for C.
Factory overhead.
Credit what? So this one is correct. All right, now this one then, okay, this was wages payable, but it was included here. You could have made 2 entries here. They made 1. You could have debit work in process, debit factory overhead, and credit materials. Turn around and make another entry and debit work in process, maybe some factory overhead and credit wages payable. So that's just a big compound entry for materials and labor. All right, and D, debit factory overhead and credit accumulated depreciation. And then we got some work in process and credit factory overhead. That's the applied. And then we got finished goods and debit credit work in process. Now, somebody add up the factory overhead and debits. That's 5180, 5500, 1980. Someone add those 3 together. 1, 2, 3. How much does that give you? Add the 3 debits to factory overhead together. How much? All right, but we applied 12,312. So subtract 12,312.
348.
How much?
348.
328. Now that would be over applied. Over applied. Now the journal entry for that would be to debit factory overhead and credit cost of goods sold. If you over apply, you want to reduce your cost of goods sold by that amount. G part, debit cost of goods sold and credit finished goods, debit your accounts receivable and credit your sales. This was your job 1, 2, and 3. This was your, I guess, is that what you're selling for? Wait a minute. That's what the cost of jobs finished. Which jobs did we sell? Which jobs did we sell in this entry here? Looks like what, 1, 2, and 3? 1, 2, and 3 jobs were sold. And what's going to be your ending inventory? Job 5. They asked some other questions in this problem and show your work in process balance, your finished goods balance. That's job 5. That's what's left. Schedule of unfinished jobs. Unfinished, just work in process 4 and 6. And what's number 4 here? Schedule of completed jobs, jobs, finished goods, inventory, just 305. 12,510. Direct materials, you can look at your ledger account, should be 5,100. Okay, what was your other problem?
5A.
Now, 5A was an income statement. Again, you had a one-liner for cost of goods sold. I don't like that. But you were running through an income statement again. Now, how many of you all have signed up to take quantitative net techniques in the fall? You'll take it this fall? Does anybody take it now? Anyway, we overrode the algebra requirements of that class. I think Dr. Sneed was to teach it. I think all of you in accounting should breeze through it. It's gonna be a lot of business math, changing decimals to percents, changing a fraction to a percent. You may have a little bit of depreciation. You may have a little bit of break even, which we get in cost of managerial. You may have some of these ratios. So you all should apply through that quantitative technique after having accounts. It should be easy. So do not get math anxiety. All right. If you have your homework, I'll take it. That's your last 5 months of bonuses. Not necessarily. I know you don't have no one.
Plus, I have no
You busy playing
desire,
on the-
plus
you
to
too
do
busy
it.
playing on the news hazard?
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else? Kelly, I think this makes at least 10 points on homework. About 5 people. And when I give you the skin from, for your exam, some of you, I'll have you put on there 10 points for attendance, 5 points for registration, 10 points for bonus, and 25 points. However, only about 5 people will get 10 points for homework. Homework you should be doing anyway, whether you get anything for it or not. But some of you make great on the test. I don't care if you do the homework or not, if you make great on the test. If you don't make great on the test, I'll tell you you should have your homework.
Do we get the 10 attendance if we watch the live stream when we've had to miss?
What now?
Do we get the attendance points if we watch the live stream when we had to miss?
If you text me and
I
tell,
don't have your number.
well,
And you said you'd give it to me, but
I know,
that never
well,
happened.
we'll talk about that too. I'll maybe consider that.
You have online on that.
Okay, now, guys, I'm not separating you today. So let's put all this to play. We really need a calculator for this model problem. Don't have your cell phones outside, just put those away. And if you have books, whoa, like, if you have books, put them in the middle of the table. So Emily won't look over and try to cheat off the corner. He won't anyway, he's gonna want a 0. Okay.
What is it? Oh, this is it. I'm not that bad.
That's,
I would do the first one.
that's really easy.
We didn't put the numbers.
Just put 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of the letter A, B, C, K. Well, that'd be something easy to start. And number 2, put it right on the same paper. There's enough room.
Got 25%. Yeah.